Hello. Hi, hi, hi. Happy Tuesday. I'm back. I know I've been gone the last 2 days. My dad had surgery, so I was tending to him. But we have a lot to get caught up on. We're going to be covering Nolan Wells, Lindsay Clancy updates, and we should be having two lives for the rest of the week every day, including members only. So I am working on getting all of those scheduled tonight. We're going to just catch up on David, Ohio. There's a couple other things I want to do. I'm also prepping for hopefully some really good guests pertaining to the Mackenzie Sharilla case. So I'm working on that. So lots to come. Definitely. Make sure you're subscribed. Please hit the like button. Let me see. Thank you, Debbie. No, not my dog, my dad. But thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, he's fine. I'm super close to him, so I had to be there for all of it. But yeah, thank you for being here. We're gonna start with Nolan Wells. I know it's been a very controversial case. I have covered it before. There are a playlist on my channel. Is it just me or did everybody's YouTube page change? Like the layout? I couldn't figure out if that was just me or like a new update. Let me know. But anyways, I haven't covered Nolan in a few days, and I know they just buried him. R.I.P. Nolan Wells. His family, I think, gave a presser that we're gonna watch. I think it's only like 15 minutes long or 18. Sorry. We're gonna go through some ex post. There are some documents that have been the first document that has been released in the Nolan Wells case, and I found someone that has it. So we'll go over to that website and take a look. I also know there's like celebrities involved in supporting Nolan Wells' case. Let me know what you think. I'm iffy. I don't want to sit here and blame any of the friends, or I'm trying not to do that like right off the bat because of the Mackenzie Shirla case, you know. And so I want to remain respectful, but with the people that he was with, but it feels off to me. So do I think they're involved? I'm not sure yet. We need to look into it more here. Tomorrow though, I just saw that it was released a couple hours ago and I have the document. It looks like we are going to be getting autopsy results. So, let's go through. I have a couple ex posts. I have two Nolan Wells videos, and then let's read this article. And then we're going to jump into Lindsay Clancy. Lindsay Clancy has been going through jury selection. She's getting ready to go to trial. She is a mother of three that unalived her three babies, according to her defense, due to postpartum psychosis. That one I have a different opinion on, but we'll talk about when we get to that case in just a little bit. I don't know if I'll be streaming the full trial yet. Trials are hard for me unless it's a case that I'm into all of them, but like they're kind of hard for me because they're long days. So I might just do recaps. That way we can cover other stuff in the true crime world. If you're not following me on other platforms, please go back and follow. So we're gonna start off with Nolan Wells. And an NPR article, we'll go over to X, read those new updates. We'll watch the presser, and I have a Vinnie Politan video that I want to watch with you guys. It's not very long, but let me say hello to everyone. Shout out to the mods that are here, Evie, and the replay viewers as well. Evie, Chris, Sabolita pop in here earlier, Debbie, Edith, Anthony. Oh, you spent 3 hours at the dentist. That sucks, but I hope you're okay. Lindsay Bay, thank you for being here, girl. I was wondering what I was looking on my landing page too. I don't like it. Anytime you see all shopped and involved, it's a grift. You know what? I've been seeing that a lot. I'm not too familiar with like the grifts and all I mean, whatever, you know, like I don't know much. I mean, I definitely know who he is, and I definitely know who attorney Ben is. It Ben Crump? I always forget his name, the first name. Yeah, I think it is Ben Crump. Yes. Um, but I see that a lot. I really do on the X posts and the YouTubes of the world. You know, a lot of people say he's a grifter, but I don't know. At least I can appreciate that he's helping, you know? Um, so there's that, I guess. Vanjie, I've missed you. I've been wondering where you've been. Hello, Joker, and hello, hoodies. Okay. Let's start off with this. Please give the video a like too. I would really appreciate that. Let me pull up. Oh, I don't know why my screen just changed, but let me pull up the article and I'll put chat up as well. This is an NPR article I wanted to just go through really quick. Nolan Wells was laid to rest. So, like I said, RIP Nolan Wells, and my condolences go out to his family. There's a couple of things I want to get into that in a bit, but let's read this article first. Sorry, my computer's freezing up. Okay, so it says at Mississippi, this is from today. At Mississippi funeral, civil rights leader calls for justice for Nolan Wells. Family and friends of Nolan Wells, as well as national civil rights leaders, gathered Monday at Center Point Church for the 18-year-old's funeral. Wells, who was found dead on an island off the state's coast 2 days after he was boated out to party for the 4th of July, was celebrated as a dearly loved friend, son, brother, and teammate. He played football for Ocean Springs High School and Southwest Mississippi Community College. Share his stories and never stop saying his name, said mom Christine Wells at the funeral. As long as we continue to remember him, his light will continue to shine through all of us. The cause of death the cause of Wells' death is still under investigation, but in the last 2 weeks, the case has drawn attention from around the country and the world. Civil rights leaders sign on. In the week since his body was found, civil rights leaders have also joined the call for answers about Wells' death. The Reverend Al Sharpton officiated the service on Monday, and civil rights attorney Ben Crump is serving as the family's legal representative. For an 18-year-old young man to no longer be with us, we want answers. No bias either way, just answers, Sharpton said during the eulogy. I think for the family, the closure that can come if there is justice. Crump announced at a press conference last week that former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick paid for an independent autopsy, and filmmaker and media mogul Tyler Perry paid for the funeral. In Ocean Springs on Monday, Sharpton announced that he and Perry would offer a combined $100,000 reward for leading to an arrest. I did see a post. It was corrected. I don't believe it's 100,000. I think it's 125,000. That's what I saw on X just a few minutes ago before I came on. So I don't want to. I believe that might be true, but don't knock me. Don't come for me. He was not coming. He was not on the island by himself. Somebody saw something and knows something, said Sharpton. The Jackson County Sheriff's Office has not indicated that foul play was involved in Wells' death. The case is being discussed across social media, but much of the initial speculation has shifted over the 2 weeks. Wells was the only Black friend in his group who went on Independence Day trip to Horn Island in Mississippi. He's the only member of the group who failed to return. That alone sparked a lot of conversation around Mississippi's history when it comes to race and fears that there's a racial element in what happened to Nolan. Family members have shared concerns about a lack of communication and information from law enforcement. Whatever you would do for your children if they were on that boat on Horn Island on 4th of July, we want you to do it for Nolan Wells, said Crump. In the 2 weeks since Nolan Wells' body was found, the sheriff's office hasn't released any details about its investigation. Recently, Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter said the investigation is still ongoing and that law enforcement has received a lot of valuable information. An autopsy report is pending, with the state officials saying the medical examiner is waiting on a toxicology report. Results from an independent autopsy ordered by Crump and his team haven't been released either. At a press conference following the funeral, Crump said they would have the results soon. And I do have an update on that next. You want stuff from the first autopsy because they had the body closer to times. We got the body almost 6 days later. Crump said Jackson County District Attorney Angel Myers McElrath shared that her office would turn investigation results over to grand jury. Crump said his team and law enforcement would review the data from Wells' cell phone together. The importance of Wells' cell phone. In an interview with Good Morning America the week of his death, Wells' mom said that she used a location sharing app to track her son's phone to one of his friend's house. From there, the mom said a friend of hers went to pick up his phone. His parents have expressed concern that the messages may have been deleted from his phone, and they're hoping a review in digital evidence may help them figure out what happened to their son. The Federal Bureau of Investigation confirmed to Mississippi Public Broadcasting that they're assisting local law enforcement, particularly investigating interstate threats that people involved in the case have received. and that is from NPR. I do have an update on those alleged threats. Let me pull them up and check in with you guys. Um, I just came across this on X, so let's move on to the X post. This case is it's rough. It's rough. Because I have a feeling it might come back as a drowning, but again, would they announce, I guess, would there still be an investigation if it was drowning? We'll see with, I guess it would be investigating how he drowned, right? But we'll wait to see because tomorrow, Ben Crump did state that he's going to release the autopsy results. So let me bring up his post that I saw on X. Hold please. I haven't been online in 2 days, so I'm like, where is everything? Let me see what you guys are saying. Oh, this is gonna be helpful. Hi, Chris Silver. Yeah, that was announced during the end of the funeral. I caught it live. The closing him made me tear up. It was on point. Someone has to know something, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But, I don't know. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I will give a lot of information. Ben Crump says, tomorrow, I will join the family of Nolan Xavier Wells at the 117th NAACP National Convention to announce the preliminary findings of the independent autopsy conducted on their behalf. As this family continues to seek answers, we remain committed to pursuing the truth and demanding a full and transparent investigation into Nolan's death. So I will probably most likely be streaming this update live. So keep your eye out for that. I'll probably schedule tonight. Like I said, I've been off the last 2 days. So I'm probably going to be going live a lot this week to catch up on everything. I hope people come forward now. That's the thing is it's just a very shitty situation, and at the end of the day, we don't know what happened yet. So is it suspicious? Absolutely. Um, we'll see. Another update I found is from Sarah Fields. I follow her on X, and she posted this. When was this? The 19th. And these are some of the threats that have been going on. I know the internet does its internet thing with things like this. Um, but like harassing and bullying someone is like never okay, right? I'm experiencing that a lot with the Mackenzie Shirla case right now. And it's just not okay. Like, don't go looking for these people and like, trying to find their address and like trying to beat them up and like call them out. Like, I get it. We think they're suspicious. Something is suspicious. Someone knew something, but like we don't need to attack people like right off the bat. And it seems like Nolan Wells' mother is getting threats at her home. And it's just like, come on. None of us I know would do that. But like it's just like we're in the freaking true crime community, So it's all one voice at the end of the day if we're in that genre. So let's try to make things right. So I did want to just say that. Nolan Wells' mother posted this on her Facebook stating this was sent to her home with no return address. There is a photo, and I'll get to that at the bottom. I think it's, at the bottom. Quote, whoever sent this to my home, may the good Lord have mercy on your soul. Bold enough to send this crap, but not bold enough to list your return address. This is America, where a grieving mother and father have to deal with this type of behavior because we asked a simple question of what happened to our son and accepted all the help we could get to find answers. Please go touch some grass. End quote. Just a few Facebook posts before she posted this, she shared a post that compared Nolan's death to the death of Aubrey Wyatt, a white girl who also from Ocean Springs, who took her own life due to being relentlessly bullied. Christine, Nolan's mother, pushed this extremely inaccurate post that tried to push the narrative that there was no pushback in her case. It was heavily implied that this was due to the color of her skin. Quote, they certainly had no problem with it when another grieving parent was white in a high-profile case, end quote. A little research would have done them so good. Aubrey was heavily criticized online on multiple platforms. Her mother was called fake and was told she was raising money for her own gain and was using her child's death. Many didn't believe her story lined up. Eventually, this led to a civil legal battle. Hatred towards white people doesn't go away just because you ignore it or write a viral post claiming it never happened. You are a victim because you lost a child, not because you're black or white. Both parents lost a child, both raised funds, both were criticized. You should never compare one tragedy to another to push your racial narrative. It's disgusting to do to the other family, and it truly shows right where your heart is. So while I don't condone sending anything to a family's home, to make your point, you're quite literally bringing so much of this criticism on yourself. Grieve your child, put the imaginary racial narrative away. We're all tired of it. So that's from Sarah Fields. Um, this is a picture from her at the uh, that she received. Oh, I didn't see that. Do you guys see that? Like the money signs, um, right here. And someone says, I just want to interject my 2 cents here about something related to Nolan. Oh, that was her post from before. So I guess she's been getting things like this in the mail, I'm sure, amongst other things. Mm, yeah, it's a little much for me to be sending this type of stuff, but hey, I don't think there's anything suspicious about it. Nolan's parents' grief has been taken advantage of. Yeah, I don't think there's anything suspicious about what they're doing or who they're working with. But, do I think something suspicious could have happened out there outside, at the lake on 4th of July? Yeah, probably. But we'll get the real truth, or more of the truth in the autopsy. So let me share this clip. This post is from TMZ. They said this new video from the day Nolan Wells went missing might reveal the first clues about who he was with during the last hour of the Horn Island 4th of July party. Let's watch this together. Is there any sound to this? No. At least I can't hear it. Okay, yeah. Both of the videos that have been released, it's like, okay, it's okay, I get it. He was there, right? And same with the altercation, like he was there. Do we know was the altercation with him? I mean, we don't know for sure yet. But here again, it's like, okay, we see him there and we see who he was around, but it's pretty much all it gives us. And obviously they're on the water, so I guess what they'll be honing in on for sure is, mm, right here, allegedly Nolan, I guess, who's on that boat. Who's that older man? Hmm. I know somebody was saying that's one of the friend's dad, or is that like the driver, the boat driver? We can't jump the gun on stuff. Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Asani, for being a member for 2 months, 20 months. Holy crap. You've almost been with me for 2 years. That's a whole lot of Asane and Millie. I appreciate you, friend. Thank you. Um, if anyone knows, then Asane knows. 20 months, sorry, not 2 months. I heard the first time someone is pissed. Yeah, I don't know. I wish we had a better like view of that video. And also this one too, like, okay, yeah, we know that's Nolan and he's like bending down and doing something right. So it's not even really like we get too much. 20 months. Let's continue. So that's interesting, but I guess those people should be questioned, correct? Okay, so let's move on to the next post. There's just a few I wanted to share. This one is also from Sarah Fields. I follow her on X. She says, I'm going to make a prediction. Nolan One's death will be ruled as an accidental drowning, and his blood alcohol content will be above the limit. Bookmark this. And yeah, I kind of do agree with that because, well, not just because of Riley Strain, but like I really thought something is suspicious about the Riley Strain case. I was just never comfortable with that, but it is what it is, right? RIP Riley Strain, and he was also, like, over the limit, right? Or at least had alcohol on him, and they say that he fell and drowned or something of the sort. I don't remember the exact details, but it's been a while since Riley Strain. But RIP Riley Strain. So, I know Nolan was a good swimmer from what I hear and what we've heard, right? So, I don't know, it's complicated, but either way, like, that sucks. Somebody lost their life, so hello, Crystal. Thank you for being here. Hey, K-Hood, and hey, Kay. Yeah, you have been around. Thank you. Okay, so this is where the new document is. It is from someone named Terry on X, but the actual website is from someone else. So it says first documents filed in the Nolan Wells case. The petition goes on to state that the estate consists solely of claims for damaging resulting from the circumstances surrounding his death. So now let's open it because it's going to lead us to a website and they have those documents. So I'm really excited about that. There are pictures of the documents. Let me share that screen because it's a different screen, but the post is on X. It's the gcwire.com website. Let's read what they have to say. This is from today. It's a 2-minute read. So let's get through that. Hey, Lintonero, good to see you. Here we go. Oh, sorry, hold on. My things tell me I have too many tabs open. Okay, so here it is. First court documents filed in the Nolan Wells case. As family and friends gathered Monday to lay Nolan Wells to rest, the first legal step towards a potential wrongful death lawsuit was quietly unfolding inside the Jackson County Chancery Court. Court records filed the same day to seek to open Wells' estate and state it consists solely of claims for damages resulting from the circumstances surrounding his death. The petition, filed July 20th in Jackson County Chancery Court, asked the court to appoint Wells's mother, Christine Wells Wansley, as administratrix of her son's estate and to issue letters of administration giving her legal authority to act on the estate's behalf. The handwritten case number indicates that the cause was assigned to the court of Judge D. Neil Harris. According to the filing, Wells died without a will, was never married, had no children, and left his mother as his sole heir under Mississippi law. I'm just confused. Like, does that mean that it's money? The petition goes on to state that the estate consists of solely of claims for damages resulting from the circumstances surrounding his death and asks the court to appoint her as administratrix in order to investigate and pursue claims of the estate. The filing also asks the court to waive the normal requirements for an inventory, appraisal, accounting, and bond, representing that any proceeds ultimately received by the estate after payment of fees and expenses would be deposited in a federally insured financial institution until further order of the court. The filing does not identify any potential defendants, nor does it allege that any particular individual or entity is legally responsible for Wells' death. No wrongful death lawsuit has been filed yet. The estate petition comes as the investigation into Wells' death continues. Nolan disappeared during a July 4th boating trip to Horn Island with a group of friends before his body was later recovered. The case has drawn national attention following the involvement of civil rights attorney Ben Crump and activist Al Sharpton. Authorities have not announced any criminal charges or publicly concluded whether Wells's death resulted from a crime, an accident, or another cause. We'll know more of that tomorrow. Opening an estate is a common legal step when a personal representative is needed to investigate or pursue potential civil claims on behalf of a deceased person. Whether any lawsuit is ultimately filed and against who remains unknown. The Chancery filing was signed by Wansley on July 20th, notarized the same day, and filed with Jackson County Chancery Clerk on the day family and friends gathered to lay Nolan Wells to rest. So these are the documents, pictures of it. Thank you, K Hood, for the 2 gems. Appreciate you. Just checking in with you guys. Hey, Adrian. Okay, this will be interesting. Oh, so it says filed July 20th. The petitioner, Christine Wells Wansley, hereby files on the petition to open estate, appoint administratrix, grant letters of administration, and for other relief regarding Nolan X. Wells, deceased for cause. The petitioner shows the court the following. The petitioner, Christine Wells Wansley, is an adult resident citizen of Jackson County, Mississippi. The petitioner is a natural mother of decedent Nolan. According under Mississippi Code, she is a proper person to serve as the administratrix of the decedent's estate. The decedent died tragically in Jackson County, Mississippi on or about July 4th, 2026, having at the time of his death a fixed place of residence at Redacted. The decedent has no last will and testament so far as petitioner knows or believes after a diligent search and inquiry. The decedent had no children during his lifetime. The decedent was never married. The decedent left as his sole heir at law his natural mother, Christine Wells. So far as the petitioner knows, the decedent at the time of left an estate consisting solely of claims for damaging results from the circumstances surrounding his death. Accordingly, in order to investigate and pursue claims of the estate, the petitioner respectfully requests that this court appoint the petitioner as administratrix of the decedent's estate. The petitioner is over the age of 21 years old, is of sound mind, has not been convicted of a felony. She is ready, able, and willing to serve as that position. The petitioner is familiar with the decedent's property, both real and personal, and other assets, so no good purpose would be served by requiring bond, inventory, appraisement, or accounting. Moreover, the petitioner represents that any estate proceeds be received by the petitioner, less all fees and expenses will be placed on deposit with a federally insured financial institution, which such proceeds to remain on deposit until further order of this court. Wherefore, premises considered, petitioner Christine Wells prays that this court will appoint her as the administratrix of the estate Nolan X. Wells, deceased, with letters of administration being issued to her by the clerk of court upon taking her oath prescribed by law. The petitioner further prays that inventory, appraisal, accounting, and bond be waived by the court unless the need therefor should later arise and be ordered by the court. Dated July 20th, 2026. State of Mississippi, County of Jackson. Personally appeared before me. Okay, so it's notarized by a notary public. Interesting, eh? Interesting. Okay, I think that's it for the post that I wanted to share. Now let's get into the press conference from, was this yesterday? Yes, yesterday. It's about 18 minutes long, and get updated on that. I have not seen this, so I'm excited to watch.
Be mindful of the fact that these two parents have just funeralized their son, and we would hope you respect that. They've just got off the phone with Tyler Perry, thanking him again for paying for the funeral, and now matching me and putting up now a $100,000 reward for anyone that gives information that directly leads to the arrest and prosecution and conviction of someone if a crime was committed. We are committed in Nash Action Network and other organizations to stand for this family. It does not end with the funeral. We intend to be vigilant on this local investigation, and we intend to push as hard as we can to find out what happened, what was this cause of this tragedy.
Let me know too in the comments in the chat what your theory is on what happened to Nolan.
Clearly, the inconsistencies and unanswered questions leaves a serious cloud. We are not making direct accusations, and we don't appreciate those that are making them against Nolan. We want the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts, and sometimes the truth is also something that is required. So we'll take your questions, Attorney Ben Crump and I, and if you have something that is that you want to ask the family. Again, if you go beyond the boundaries of what is appropriate, I will stop the question, not the family, because they're not here to be ridiculed. They are here because they're mourning and they had enough heart to say they would come with us to the press conference. I want to say something.
Just very briefly, I want to thank Reverend Al Sharpton and National Action Network and Mr. Tyler Perry, because we're in a ferocious search for the truth. And we know there were hundreds of people on Horn Island. Many of them have contacted us saying that they believe that they need to tell the family their truths directly. For whatever reasons, they said, we may call the law enforcement agencies, but we want to tell you all the truth of what we saw or what we videotaped or photographs we took. And we believe that everybody should want the same thing, the truth. And it is imperative, as soon as possible. Do not let time continue to, it's been 2 weeks now almost. Let's intensify, and that's why I'm grateful for the reward. Let's intensify this search for the truth, because they have a tendency to sweep things under the rug as time goes by. We don't want too much time to go by when memories get foggy, when people start to feel pressure. They heard a law enforcement person say no foul play, so they don't feel like if they say anything, it's going to be attacked. No. Tell us. We want to evaluate every aspect to be able to give Christine and Elmore answers.
He's a civil rights attorney, but like, where's the criminal attorney? I feel like he's rarely spoken out, or maybe I've just missed that. I guess it doesn't matter, but I'd like to hear. I guess this is a representative, right, to speak to PR, to the media.
As to why Nolan Wells is dead and not with us. And so with that, we will take your questions if you have any.
Please identify your outlet and say your name.
Tristan Smith from Dayline NBC. First, thank you for allowing us here today. I'm praying for your family, and I hope you get answers to your questions soon. I just wanted to know, with the community turnout, the football players, the state reps, everybody came out today. What does that mean to you and your family?
That means a lot. Again, that is a testament to who Nolan is and was as a person, how many people he touched. It's also a testament to those who have questioned our parenting, what type of parents we are to all of our children. And we just cannot thank our community enough for rallying around us during this time. Also, again, to Colin Kaepernick, Tyler Perry, Byron Allen, just so much love from places we could have never imagined. And we're grateful. Thank you.
Danielle Willis, WJTV out of Jackson. And again, my condolences as well to you all. We are praying for you in your time. And what would transparency look like to you all? I know we spoke about transparency during the eulogy. What are you hoping and wanting from investigators?
The truth. I think that we need to hear exactly with evidence of what they say happened. I think that part of what embellished the concerns we had was for someone in law enforcement here to say, we see no foul play. So they're really going to have to show us one way or another where they go from here. The fact is that you cannot convince many of us, given the unanswered questions, cell phones, stuff taken off the cell phone, keys, all of which was at first denied. And no one turned, they did not come to the family. The family started missing him and searching for him. All of that does not add up. So what we would want to see is something that adds up to saying truth, not adds up to just some.
I'm assuming they gave this press conference knowing the autopsy results, question mark, perhaps, maybe, allegedly is my opinion. Because they're doing a release tomorrow of some information. So
loosely connected stories.
The only thing I would add to Reverend Al's answer to your question, what is transparency to us? It is truly having a fair and impartial investigation, as if Nolan, the facts were reversed. It's inescapable. You know, people often talk about, you know, well, you all keep interjecting race. Well, y'all know in every situation that is a identifier when you're talking about matters. You know, we hear black on black crime. It's inescapable. And so we want to really be able to say to this family, but to America, it was a fair investigation. Everything they did had the roles being reversed racially, where they had 3 young black men and a white man died after being on the boat. You have his cell phone. Those are the things that we're searching for. Did you search their phones? You know, we talking about Nolan's phone. Those are the questions that transparency, the autopsy, you know, we waiting for it. It shouldn't take that long. We want those answers. And so transparency is giving complete equity to this family.
So they don't have the state's autopsy, but they have the independent. That's what I'm understanding.
Fair and thorough, impartial investigation where we know that due process was respected every step of the way. And many have questions. And so we are trying to be respectful and collaborative as much as we can. We will hope that they will give the same to us.
Attorney Crump, we talked before about situations like this, and I'm just wondering, does it bother you a little bit that we don't have that news conference where officials are given a timeline, where they map things out for what they know, where they share as much information as they have with the public? Because obviously people are paying attention.
Yeah, you know, Ryan, is always troublesome to all of us when these investigations just take forever. I mean, 6 months to get a toxicology report back, to get an autopsy done, as if, you know, the longer we let it go, the more people forget, other things happen, it gets swept under the rug. And so that's what's important, to have a timeline. And when you don't have that timeline, you start to say, oh, what Nolan Wells, what happened? I mean, I remember that case, but we got no answers. And so that's the trouble without having a timeline. And so that's why the people who are calling us, I mean, we have people presenting videos, and it's so helpful as we try to put this puzzle together. People are talking about their boats, and when they were out there, and when they were in earshot of Nolan and people on the boat. We need all of that information because we want to make sure what goes to the grand jury is accurate.
Right.
We know when it goes to the grand jury, we never will know what happened in that grand jury. That's why we're collecting affidavits. Did this get presented to the grand jury? It's never lost on me. It's never lost on me. You can get an indictment on a ham sandwich. in the grand jury if you want to. The question is, are you trying to get to the truth? Or are you trying to help keep the truth hidden from us? And that's what we're fighting for. The last thing I would say is this.
He's really heavy on, they're hiding something or keeping something. Hoodie says states autopsy is more involved and more chain of people involved. I can see that. Hoodies also says the police could be keeping the info close to the vest because they know how Ben Crump is. The family shut the police out when they hired him to be their spokesperson. That is very true as well.
And it's important. There are people who are presenting videos, photographs that may show Nolan was on the boat with the person, Katie. We got the fully vet that I respect so much what my mentor, Reverend Al, said up there. We're going to go wherever the truth leads us. We want the truth no matter who it implicates or exonerates. We want justice no matter who it acquits or convicts. So we know they're telling two different stories. The boys telling one story, Katie telling one story. What is the truth?
One more question, just obviously mom and dad, thank you for doing these conferences with us, but so many people from the community, both black and white, showed up today. Coaches said that they would love to have your son be their son. When you hear men and teammates reflect on your son's life in the way they have, can you explain to us what that sounds like in your hearts?
To me, that sounds like me and my wife did an excellent job at raising a fine young man.
Yes.
Nolan was loved by many, both young and old. He helped a lot of people. No matter if you were regular or handicapped, people still love Nolan. He would help special needs. He would help special needs kids all the time. Basketball, teach them how to play basketball. I mentioned in my speech about getting phone calls and emails. There was a father who asked Nolan to help his special needs son train for basketball, and Nolan did it willingly. And that made that kid's day. And he seen me out one day and he couldn't stop thanking me and praising me enough for the son that I raised and how much that meant to his son. So as far as I'm concerned, we did a great job.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
One more question. Dating 4.5. We were asking, did you guys ever get the incident report back? We know it was an issue getting it.
No, we brought that up in our meeting, so hopefully we will address that. Won't be today, but we will address that.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Ken. I'm from DFW Night Shift Crime in Dallas, Texas. I just want to offer my condolences to you. I wanted to ask you, what does honoring Nolan's legacy look like for your family moving forward? Are there any foundations, scholarships, community initiatives, or causes you hope people will support in his memory?
Absolutely. This is actually something my cousin Keezy and I have briefly discussed. But of course, with everything that's going on, we want things to kind of cool down a little bit. My husband and I, honestly, we have not fully processed this. We have not fully grieved Nolan, but that is the plan, is to come up with some foundation, just to honor him, but also to United Cajun Navy. Big help. Boots on the ground almost immediately after I spoke with Josh Gill. So, we have to remember those types of organizations in our communities and utilize them, but also give back to them. So that is our hope, that we'll be able to give as much as we've been given during this time.
Yes.
Stephen Smith with the Associated Press. Is there any update to the independent autopsy that you guys requested?
Sure.
Oh.
And just on that last question, very good question. Christine and Elmore and Cliff Jones and Lisa Park at the office, they talk frequently, and that's one of the things she stressed at the funeral service. She wanted to celebrate his life and define what his legacy will be. So we look forward to working to define his legacy. Nobody else is going to define his legacy but the people who knew him best.
Sorry.
Yeah. As it relates to the independent autopsy, we are looking to have findings sooner rather than later. Obviously, you want stuff from the first autopsy because they had the body closer to time. We got the body almost 6 days later, Dr. Roger Mitchell. So there are limitations as to what he could do. So, you do the best you can, but there are unanswered questions. So he's getting his report together. I believe it will be coming very soon. Yeah.
Let me take one. I'm gonna take three more. 1, 2, and we'll come back to you.
Yeah, hoodies, I agree. That's why I don't want to like jump to assume that his friends, because some people are like they were his friends. Some are like no. Some are like he was the only black guy there, and I'm like, I I don't think that they killed him just because he was the only black guy there. But I think something was suspicious. And now whether they got scared and didn't know how to handle that, that's a different story. The mom judge, another thing. But Hoodie says, heartbreaking for this family. I know they need and deserve answers. Jumping to insisting this was a crime was a bad idea. Whether or not it is a crime, this will make people stay silent. Agreed.
Janelle Griffith with People Magazine. I also want to extend my condolences and to thank you for allowing the media to come. I know you didn't have to allow us to be here. I just had two small questions, both related to cell phones. One of the things that came out of your meeting with the local DA was that you agreed you would both analyze Nolan's phone. I wanted to know when that might take place. And the other was that at the end of the last press conference, you said that Ben, you said you wanted everybody's cell phones looked at. So that, to me, that meant the other young men that were with Nolan that day. Did you communicate that to the DA, and what did she say? If so, have they analyzed their phones? Do they plan to?
I did communicate that to the district attorney. Whether they're going to do that, that's a question that you have to ask them. But we thought that it's only fair if we're going to look at Nolan's phone, we should look at the other people who were with Nolan that day. Because, again, we just want equal justice. We think that if Nolan was on that boat, roles were reversed, they would look at his phone. And so that is going to be important. We have not established a time yet of when we're going to do the mutual inspection of the cell phone. We have to do some technical things. We're getting our experts together, working with phone companies and so forth. But we hope to do that sooner rather than later. This was a big first step for the family getting through the day. So now we can get laser focused on all those things to finish this investigation.
Will Polson with WLOX. Ben, you had mentioned that it had been a couple of days, I think you had said 6 days, since after the state's autopsy was done before you were able to get access to the body. I know whenever it first came out, it was being flown to DC and then autopsy planned for that Friday. Can you confirm when that autopsy was done?
They had weather issues, so I do think they got the body Friday night or Saturday morning around that time.
Is that the same day that the autopsy was?
I can't confirm that. I know they received the body, and I think they immediately went to it. It would be in the report the date they did the autopsy. Yes.
Miss Selena Charles, the Purpose for the People. You guys are supposed to be having a rally on the 26th. Is that still going to occur?
Well, I think that was the community, people who are activists who we're very grateful, standing up, demanding a fair and impartial investigation. And we want to say thank you to all the community leaders and activists standing up saying, no, we want a timeline. We want transparency. We want them to check cell phones. We want everything that you would have done had it been your child. So that's what they're going to be talking about on the 26th.
Okay, so they're gonna be talking about the autopsy tomorrow and then something on the 26th. So we'll definitely keep up to date on that stuff. I hope the parents and everyone in Nolan have resources so they can grieve and speak out if they need to. The whole thing is so devastating to everyone, especially the family, and so sad. I hope they will find answers. Yeah, but I said it at the beginning if you guys weren't here. I don't want to jump to completely pointing at the friends, although we think something is suspicious because again, we've seen that in many cases, right? Jumping the gun sometimes, speaking on it can get a lot of backlash. And I'm seeing that a lot in Kenzie case as well. I want to play this Vinnie Politan segment that he did.
Nolan Wells. He was with his friends on July 4th when they rowed a boat to Horn Island, 10 miles from the shore in Mississippi. 2 days later, his body was found in the water. Seems like this shouldn't be a mystery. I mean, he was with his friends. There were many other people on Horn Island that day, yet still here we are with no answer.
Somebody saw something and know something. So I didn't come to make money. I came to give money. Stand up and tell the truth.
Al Sharpton and attorney Ben Crump have stepped in to help the family, and they were at the funeral today where Nolan's parents spoke through tears.
Nolan, we love you. We'll continue to fight for you.
Until we get answers, until we get to truth, until we get to justice, we gonna stand up and we gonna keep ringing the justice bells for Nolan Wells.
Unfortunately, the temperature in this case has been turned way up by social media, where everyone involved seems to be getting attacked. The friends that were with Nolan that day, they're being attacked, and Nolan's family also being attacked on social media. All of this before anyone has answered the only question that matters. What happened to Nolan Wells? Nolan Wells was buried today, and his family will be forever changed. But they're at a point where they want justice, and justice is the truth about what happened to Nolan. Despite that, the family is under attack. We're going to take a look at that, plus take a look at some of the new evidence uncovered relative to the boat. I'm Vinnie Politan. Let's investigate.
Okay, Vinny.
Today was
The music is so intense in that intro. I literally thought I was watching like a movie.
an absolutely heartbreaking day. That's because they buried their son. Nolan Wells' parents had to say goodbye to their 18-year-old son. And it's so incredibly tragic as we look at what happened here and try to figure out exactly why they had to bury their son today. And there's really two scenarios that you're looking at in this case. One is a complete accident. Somehow, some way he went into the water and drowned, right? Or something else happened, something nefarious, something that is being covered up at this point. And that's where we are in this investigation, because there are conflicting stories about why he wasn't on the boat with all of his friends returning. His friends said he was staying with a girl, and apparently the girl has spoken to the family saying, no, he told me he was going back with his friends onto the boat. So someone's not telling the truth, or something happened on the way to going to the boat. The grand jury's looking at this. So as far as the investigation is concerned, it will happen, and there will be some conclusion by the grand jury. But in the meantime, the investigators in this case, they need to tell all about what happened here. There has to be complete transparency, because regardless of what the results are of this investigation, everyone has to understand why those were the results. So to give you an idea of what was happening today, I want to start with the funeral. And I want to start with Reverend Al Sharpton, who was there providing the eulogy, but also speaking about the case, the investigation, and everything else surrounding it. So let's take a listen.
When I was called about what happened to Nolan, and as the days went on, the parents came to our Harlem headquarters of National Action Network and told the story as they knew it at that time. Attorney Ben Crump, who I call the Attorney General of Black America, began looking into this situation. And since then, every day, I have thought about what this means and what it could mean. And a lot of what this could mean, it could be the healing or it could be the poking of the wound. That's going to be decided by what we do. The senior pastor of this church had the courage of his faith to open the doors of this church and let this family funeralize him, even though he knows that some, I'm sure, in the city would wonder why he would even do that. And the dividing of our children of God is something that we have to get over. One of the things that I'm glad to see is that there are people of all races at this funeral.
Okay, like, I understand the race factor of it, but like, can I chill out for like a second? Like, I know it's important, but it's just like in every sentence he says.
And there are people of all ages. All whites are not a racist, and all blacks are not angry. Somewhere in the middle, we've got to meet and find what is just and fair.
Could it be that maybe someone knows something or did something and maybe they were scared? Not necessarily because he was black, but maybe because they were partying. I don't know, just an opinion.
And that is why we want to celebrate Nolan and at the same time say we want a full and thorough investigation.
Just hold there for 1 second. That's an important part of this. No one knows what happened yet. There's been no conclusion. And that seems to be the focus of what the family wants here. They just want a full investigation so they can understand how their 18-year-old died. Let's watch more.
We don't want nothing sugar-coated either way. But for an 18-year-old young man to no longer be with us, we want answers. Not biased either way, just answers.
And I mean that in a sense of like, okay, maybe his friends aren't racist. Now the police department and lawmakers and the history behind it is something else, right? I'm not too educated on the whole Mississippi and race thing, but I've been reading up some because of this case. But that's kind of what I think about.
And I think that for the family, the closure can come if there is justice. We will see where it goes. Some have prejudged. I do not think that it is appropriate for either side of opinions to prevail without a backup and fair investigation.
Like, was there a hate crime against Nolan before? Or like maybe in the text message, they'll find something, nasty from the friends. I don't know. I'm just throwing ideas out there before, like, just assuming his friends are racist and murderers. I get it. I get what they're coming from. I really do. And I'm not trying to knock the racism thing because it's very real, not just between blacks and whites. I'm Hispanic and I've had a lot of racism in my life thrown at me. I mean, we could all probably say the same thing. Or at least a lot of races. But yeah, I just feel like, what about the friends makes them racist and to want to kill Nolan Wells? Teddy says Sharpton has been caught up in cases of racism that turned out to be false. After the truth came out, he continued to push the race card. They went into this with the race card and crime as a fact with no facts. Yeah, I agree. It could be that he was going back on the boat in the last minute, decided he wanted to stay, and that's why the girl and the boys had 2 different accounts. Could be that maybe they were just getting effed up. It's 4th of July, you're young, you're in high school. I mean, it is what it is, right? Teenagers, 4th of July, partying on the lake, hot bods, hot guys, hot girls, having a good time, starting a new chapter in life. Like, I just want to know why everyone is assuming that his friends are hardcore racist and just wiped him out of the face of the earth. Like, I don't get that vibe from them, but I get that they were there and they possibly know something. Now, was it due to racism? I don't know. Maybe they had rugs or something. You know what I'm saying?
We cannot say it was racist, but we cannot say it was not racist. So
Thank you. Okay, I haven't watched this, so I didn't know he was going to say that right after we.
let's not judge either way until all the evidence is in. And in that light, let me say,
Sir, you're saying let's not judge that, but right away, but like you're doing that, sir, respectfully.
say this, and I'm going to take a brief text and I'll move on. There are those that are so full of hate that they would send hate messages to the house of these parents. They sent one that Christine shared with Attorney Crump and I, and it accused her and Elma of just stirring trouble and accused the lawyers, Attorney Crump and I, oh, they just want money. First of all, I don't get any money in any of what we do. Most of the cases that you have seen us do, we help to pay the funerals and all of that, and never ask for a dime back, even if they got settlements. But since Mississippi's so special, I'm not only saying we don't want nothing, I want to say right here now, and I'm inspired by who accused us of that I want to put up from National Action Network and me. I want to offer a reward of $50,000 to anybody
I believe they said it was 100K now or something like that.
I want to put a reward up for $50,000 for anybody that could give the information that will lead to an arrest and a conviction in the case of what happened. He was not on that island by himself. Somebody saw something and knows something. So I didn't come to make money. I came to give money. Stand up and tell the truth. Whatever it is, good or bad, we're not going to prejudge it, but we cannot end it until we know all the facts. So all you got to do is reach out to Attorney Crump's office, and National Action Network could do that if it leads to an arrest and conviction. And I guarantee you, you'll have it before the sun goes down.
All right. So the reward is out there. Reward was matched by Tyler Perry, so it's up to $100,000 for information leading to a conviction of someone. That presumes that something criminal happened.
Yes, I agree with Vinny. It's like, okay, they're offering money. They might possibly have the independent autopsy already. So
the question is, if there was an accident, why didn't anyone see that either? Why didn't someone else see him go in the water on his own volition? A lot of unanswered questions here. So I want to show you the post that was mentioned by Al Sharpton that was put up by Nolan Wells' mother. And on the screen, you'll see.
Oh, that's funny. That's just the one I showed. If you can see the money signs.
See the post where the mom is there surrounded by Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, and then there's arrows and there's dollar signs that this thing's all about money. Here's what the mom posted and what she said along with posting that photo. Whoever sent this to my home, may the good Lord have mercy on your soul. Bold enough to send this, beep, but not bold enough to list your return address. This is America, where a grieving mother and father have to deal with this type of behavior because we asked a simple question of what happened to our son, and accepted all the help we could get to find answers. Please go touch some grass. Justice for Nolan Wells, forever 18. And you understand how difficult this is. You lose your son, you don't know what happened, and now people are attacking you and accusing you of things. It's outrageous. On the same token, if you look at this from the other perspective of the friends that were with Nolan Wells, if they did nothing wrong, they too are getting attacked and accused of things online.
Mm-hmm.
All of this is incredibly premature. Incredibly premature. And there's absolutely no reason to attack a mother who lost her son.
True.
Let's take a listen to Nolan's mom, who spoke today, again, on the day that she's burying her 18-year-old son.
First, I want to give all thanks and honor and glory to God for choosing Elmore and me to be Nolan's parents. We thank you, Lord, for the beautiful 18 years that you blessed us with him. Thank you for the joy he brought not only to our family, but also to his friends and everyone in the community whose lives he touched. Nolan had such a gentle, calming spirit about him. He had a way of making people feel seen, welcome, and valued. He could lift your confidence with just a few words and make you feel like you belonged. If you ever had the privilege of meeting our son Nolan or calling him a friend, then you experienced a glimpse of God's love through him. He was both protective and nurturing. He often told us that one day he wanted to have 3 daughters that he would name Sophia, Charlotte, and Olivia. He had a deep love for the Lord and an unwavering faith that was evident in the way he lived his life. As much as our hearts are broken, we find peace in knowing that our son is resting in the arms of the Lord. We will miss everything about him, from his quiet nature to the corny jokes, his gentle smile, the way he made everyone around him feel comfortable, loved, and at ease. Your absence has left an emptiness that can never truly be filled. A piece of our hearts will always be missing. Nolan, your father and I are incredibly proud of you. We've always been proud of you, of the young man you were, and we will always be proud of the legacy of love, kindness, and faith that you have left behind. In a world that can often feel dark, be like Nolan. Be the light that brightens the lives of those around you. Be the warmth for those who may be feeling the coldness of the world. Love deeply, protect fiercely, and welcome others with kindness. And remain faithful, knowing that God is always with you. Lastly, I ask that each of you keep Nolan's memory alive. Hold him close in your hearts. Share his stories and never stop saying his name. As long as we continue to remember him, his light will continue to shine through us all. Nolan, we love you. We'll continue to fight for you. And until we meet again, and thank you all for coming. Thank you.
So sad.
There's a level of heartbreak there, right? This is a mom. And, you know, this whole thing that's happening online, turning this into like some sort of a race war, is so uncalled for.
Oh, good. I'm glad that Vinny's on the same page. We're on the same page here. I want to watch that, Selena. Good to see you. And yes, it is so heartbreaking. Hello, Cynthia.
At this time, going in both directions. This is about a mom and a dad who lost their 18-year-old son, and they don't know what happened. They just don't know what happened, and they're getting conflicting information. I mean, any parent under those circumstances, you're enduring this incredible loss, but you can't process it. You can't process how and why this happened. And I don't know if either finding out what exactly happened here, if it's a complete accident or if it's some sort of a crime, I don't think either one's going to make them feel better. But what will give them some way to and again, I don't believe in closure, in turning the page in all of this, is to find out exactly what happened. And if someone else is responsible, that they're held responsible. And if it was an accident, try to understand how that happened and why that happened, and then come to terms with it. But there's no closure for this. Their lives are forever changed. When your child is gone, you don't like zip up that wound and move on. The best you can do is just turn the page away from, okay, we don't know what happened to, we know what happened, and it still hurts. And it still hurts. But at a minimum, that's what the parents deserve. Justice, which is finding out the truth. So we've got a few more details, or perhaps alleged details, about the boat that day, the boat that brought Nolan Wells to Horn Island, and apparently the boat that left without him, but his friends were on it. What you're listening to, this is originally from NBC News. This is some dispatch audio coming from one of the young men on the boat. Let's take a listen to it, and then we're going to talk about it.
We're sinking. Can y'all please come?
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Okay. Couple things there, right? The boat's sinking. It's taking on water. There's something wrong with the boat. Okay. And they need help.
Oh, wow.
Number two, is everyone on board in good health otherwise? So the question's about who is on board. The answer is yeah, everyone's on board. Well, what does that mean, everyone's on board? Does everyone's on board mean everyone that came to the island on the boat, or is it just the people that left the island on the boat? So the boat's sinking, the boat's taking on water.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like we lost someone who went overboard while the boat was taking on water and sinking. I think that's the interpretation, because the question's about the people who are currently on board. Now, a local chancery judge who has a son who was on the boat posted something on Facebook about what was happening with the boat and about the son, about her son. Take a look at this. He, meaning her son, saw Nolan last around 3 p.m. on July 4th. 3 p.m. They left around 4:30 when the boat was taking on water and they had an issue with the bilge pump. Nolan made a decision to stay on the island and return inland later with another group of friends. Okay, so that's the story from those who were on the boat, that Nolan decided to stay. But the issue of the boat and the water and the bilge pump is interesting. Now, this is from the Sun Herald. We have some more details about what was taking place with the boat as it left the island. According to a report from the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, GPS tracking provided a timeline for the boat that Wells traveled onto the island. The tracking showed the boat departed a private dock around 9:56 a.m. on the 4th, arrived at Horn Island around 11:14 a.m., according to the report first obtained by CBS News. The boat left the island, as we just said, at 4:31. The boat headed into Fort Bayou around 5:52 and returned to the dock at 6:06, the report said. Later, around 7:19, the boat arrived at the Fort Bayou boat launch, the report said. The boat was tracked on land after that while it was being towed by vehicle to the boat owner's home. So my guess is that's pretty normal practices, right? For bringing the boat in, you're taking it out of the water. It's not a boat that's staying in the water.
But he wasn't reported, quote, missing until like 11 o'clock p.m., right? So there is a span of time that is very questionable, if I'm not mistaken.
A couple things about leaving the island. The reports out there are saying that they were towed for like 3 of the miles. and then the tow left. So that's interesting because there would be witnesses. If someone was towing the boat for 3 miles, they would see the other young men who were on the boat, how they were acting, what they were saying, what they were doing. There might be some observations that they made, and then questions about why were they towed only 3 miles. Now, I'm not a boating expert. I did some research trying to figure out how that is possible. And some people are saying with these type of boats, once you get it going at a certain speed, at a certain rate and maybe angle, then the water that it had taken on will naturally get out of the boat. Or perhaps the bilge pump was fixed, one or the other. I don't know. But they were partially towed. So there will be other witnesses, or should be at least one other witness who can talk about interacting with the young men on that boat. And this would be as they're leaving the island, which is, if they did something criminal, would be after they just committed a crime.
Yeah.
But if they didn't commit a crime, then maybe you see them acting very normally, like nothing is amiss. But at least you have someone who potentially is observing them and can say, well, yeah, something was weird, or there's nothing out of the ordinary. A bunch of kids who were worried about the water on the boat, and they're just trying to get back. Now, the real issue here, and what really will cut to the chase of what happened here, is why is this young woman saying that he said he was going with his friends, and why are the friends saying that he was going to stay on the island with this girl and then come back with other friends? And if his friends had left, why would he not leave with the girl? Why would he stay there?
Yeah.
Did he know that the boat had left yet? Could this be a situation where he is hanging out with this young woman, she's leaving, and then you say, oh, I'm going to go with my friends, and then he goes to find them and they're gone, and something else happened? I don't know. But why didn't anyone see this? If you look at the images of Horn Island that day, there are people everywhere.
Or could have something happen on land, right? Do they keep a ledger of who gets on and off the boat? I think if they're just like independently owned, I don't know about that, Hoodies. Good question. And hey, J. Lou, Evie also asked a good question. Did the friends with him that day go to his funeral? With that, all I have to say is they probably did. They probably didn't. I don't know yet if they did. But if they didn't, I could kind of understand, because there's a lot of backlash towards them. I would hope they did, but I don't know those details. But that is a very good question. Oh, Smetty says they weren't allowed. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. And I saw Brandy Ray Babe. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying the Kenzie content. Thank you for being here. They weren't allowed. Again, so it gives off they know something we don't for sure. It's going to be way more painful in the long run when she realizes, says Elsie.
It just seems like there should be easy to solve this, that there should be someone somewhere. Oh yeah, I saw him get in the water. I saw him looking for his friends on the boat. I saw this. I saw, nobody noticed anything. I understand people are drinking. It's July 4th.
Yeah.
I get that. But still, I think that's the frustrating part for the family. And hopefully the grand jury that is investigating this will be able to get that information. But there were people on Horn Island that day taking, I'm sure a lot of them are taking videos. They need to come forward and just kind of talk about what you saw, what you observed, what you heard, including those that were on his boat, the young woman, and the people that were on her boat with her. All right.
I agree. And also, if it was something could have happened on land, I guess they think it's the boat because the friends had the phone and the boat did this and that. But what about like on land? Something could have happened there, right? Yeah, I hope she doesn't regret having them doing the eulogy, right? Okay, so that's it for Nolan Wells right now. I'm gonna do a separate live. This is just a Lindsay and Nolan live just for these minor updates. But tomorrow when we cover the autopsy will probably go into more depth. I want to really like hone in on this case. It could have, yeah, it could have exactly. So I'll do a solo live for Nolan. Probably from here on out. If there's more information, let's RIP Nolan. Again, I don't want to attack the friends, but someone does obviously have to know something, right? Where did they find his body? I thought it was like, wasn't it back at the shore? Let me look that up exactly because I thought it was in the same place, face down and clothed in water just offshore. Oh, offshore on the northwestern tip of Horn Island. Face down and clothed. Wait, what do they mean by clothed? Like it wasn't his swim trunks? Because if he was in clothes, I have questions. Washed up face down on the island like 4 days later. But serious question, why would they bring his phone versus leaving it with him? And why would they not return it to the family as they should have, rather than her tracking on, I think it was Life 360 as well. Yeah, it was at the shore he drowned. He was still wearing his trunks. Oh, so that's what he was wearing, his trunks. I thought like he put on like some like summer clothes or something. But if he was on his in his pool attire, his lake attire, then it is what it is. R.I.P. Nolan. Yeah, so I'll definitely do a solo live tomorrow for Nolan. I'm gonna do some more digging tonight. 4 days later seems like I thought it was only 2 days later. Let's see. Was it really 4 days later? No, it was just 2 days later. It's his it was found on the morning of July 6th. So, it was just 2 days later. Thank you, Brandy Ray, for the gift. 2 days later is what it says on Google. The body of 18-year-old Nolan Wells was found in the water off the shores on July 6, 2026. Because no one takes their phone on the island. There's no dock to stay dry once you get off the boat. But other people had their boat. I mean, there's footage of him being recorded, that alleged fight, and then the video we just saw right now on TMZ. So clearly people do take it, but I understand what you're saying. Like, not everybody does. Oh, I didn't know about the phone. They didn't return it. His mom tracked it to where and who? His mom tracked it to one of the, I believe, males on that was on the boat with him. She tracked it to his house. I can't remember exactly what friend, but I haven't even really been dropping the friends' names because I don't want to. I've showed them and there's pictures because it's public information and their names are out there. Their full legal name, but I don't want to do that. And I'm not sure which one is which either. So I'll definitely look into that. But it was allegedly the mom went to the house and the guy was like, oh, I don't know where the phone is, la la la. And then a girl called and told him. I'm not sure if it was the same girl, Katie, or the guy's girlfriend. And said it was like on top of the stereo or something like that. From a boat, but not from the shore unless they had a dry bag. Yeah, I'm not going anywhere without my phone. I know that's like a little crazy, but no, it's 2026. We're all glued to our phones one way or another. You know what I'm saying? It's sad what the town is going through for everyone. Yeah, it is. So keep your eyes out for the Nolan Wells live tomorrow. Hey, Kate, good to see you. Was he not found until the next day? He was found on the 6th, the morning of the 6th. So, RIP Nolan Wells. Now, let's proceed with Lindsay Clancy. I've been so heavy into this case. When trial starts, like I said, I'll be doing updates. Hold on, let me get my notes. Yeah, Cora, Dawson, and Callan. RIP baby Cora, Dawson, and Callan. Let me know what you guys think about Lindsay Clancy because I've been seeing a lot of stuff and people are like, she did it on purpose. She planned it when he went to get food, but it's like, dude, I eat out a lot too, and it's like, was that really, like, a thing to my opinion, and this is my opinion only, we don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree. Shit, we've been doing a lot of that in Kenzie case. People coming for my head, but I got some interesting things coming up, so I am not done speaking about Mackenzie Shirella. Anyways, getting off track here. What was I saying? Oh yeah. I don't think she did it intentionally. I think there's a lot of mental health factors here. So I'm not sure where I stand about her being in prison, doing more time, or being in a mental facility. I don't know. But I don't think she was just like, this is it right now at this time. He went and get food. I'm taking out my babies and then tried to take herself out. I just really don't think that. But if you do think so, let me know. Drop your comments, drop your chats. Let me know what you think. I would love to get we have covered this, by the way. I just read a document of the lawsuit from her husband suing the doctors. And I had a really bad experience with mental health and medications. So I might talk about that on the members only because it's a little more personal and a little more, us. So I'm going to talk about that. I feel like it's important to talk about it because it was a big thing in my life for a while. So um I could definitely see it. She was on a lot of medications. I think I wrote them all down. We got to 11, but I believe there was more. So she was on Zoloft, Prozac, Ambien, Remeron, Clonidine, a mood stabilizer, Trazodone, amitriptyline, and Valium. So yes, hoodies. We actually read the civil suit against the doctors in the last live. Um, oh, wait, you mean from them? Like the doctors? Okay. Maybe email it to me. I might already have it, but if you wouldn't mind, because I found the one with the husband suing the doctors or filing, going after the doctors, but I didn't know I don't think I read the response yet. When an affordable tragedy happened, people always want someone to blame. She could have done it while he was at work. Sending him out just to do that is such a small window of time versus all day. Exactly. Holy moly, way too much meds. Yeah. It's obvious she had a terrible mental health break, but because it's such a terrible tragedy, people are going to look for someone to blame. I know, and people want justice, but you can't be closed off in true crime. Like, you really can't. And I know there's people that are like, nope, she's a cold-blooded murder. And it's like, okay, well, maybe that person doesn't have experience with mental health, or maybe that person, you know, is ignorant, or maybe that person, not that I'm saying anyone here is ignorant, but I'm just speaking in general. Like, when I see things I've seen some pretty horrifying posts on X. I'm not gonna lie, like people saying that she's a straight up murder. I don't see it. And it also speaks volumes to me about the husband. He's sticking by her and he is going to testify on her behalf. So I think that's a very, very big, important fact to me to form my opinion. We probably had the same docs, but wait, I missed a live. Yeah, I think you did, hoodies. I thought you were here, but yeah, I did. I read that in the last live. That's a crazy amount of drugs on to pull the mind in so many different directions. I agree. Legally says, but no, not now, but oh, okay. Okay. A lot of people are one-sided in life. That's also true. But the meds, and she tried to help, like, a lot of help. She tried to get a lot of help, and they have proof of all of that, yeah, that medication lift, yeah, is ridiculous. It takes like months for someone to get acclimated to one, or just so I can't imagine all of that, and that's too many. I also believe she wasn't treated properly for her mental health. It's so sad how we still can't treat mental health properly. No, we can't. We can't. It's terrible. It's a terrible, terrible thing that affects all society, the whole world, And I don't think it's anything shameful either. I've been very outspoken about that. I think if you had mental health issues before and you were and it drove you to addiction or a lot of other things, like it's all connected, right? We're all wired that way. Um I hate meds, big pharma. Yeah, I used to work for big pharma. Am I a big fan now? No, not really. I feel like like X is super, yeah, it is super toxic. Okay, so there's two really short clips. One's like 7 minutes of Chris Cuomo, one's 4 minutes, and then I want to get into the jury selection updates. Because we are going to be doing updates if I don't watch the whole trial, like word for word. But even if I don't watch it word for word on live, I will probably watch it word for word, like out in my off time while I research. So let's watch this clip. This is by I don't know. I'll let you know what channel it's on after I minimize it. Hey Sarah, good to see you, love. I'm gonna go back to the start because I'm like, okay, I appreciate you being here. They will ruin your life. Yo, I almost lost my life from one medication. So I can't imagine 11. I cannot imagine it. But like I said, that's more for our members only. The part I have an issues with is they obviously knew she was dealing with mental health issues. So why leave her alone with the kids? You know, he was working from home because of it to try to help her. And I don't, maybe he assumed like, okay, she's doing really, really well today or, beforehand. And maybe she can handle like a 30-minute drive. I don't know the exact time, but I know it wasn't very long. Legally says this is one case I really feel like that bench trial would be better. What do you think? Yeah, I can actually agree with you. I can. I think the Kenzie case should have probably been jury, but this one, I think a bench trial would work more in her favor because I know people are going to be, very mean about her being mental health. And then let's hope not, though. Let's hope that those jury people have, well, not that I hope bad things, but let's hope that they have some experience in something about mental health. Or, it's not sometimes just us. It's those we surround ourselves in love, our family members, our cousins. And mental health is like, it incorporates everything, right? Money, how you live, other illnesses, sex, relationships, addiction, there's trauma, grief, all kinds of things, right? It's like who we are at the end of the day, too. Doctor gives meds and grieve the more meds for side effects. The first med created, yeah, I agree. Lots of meds here. It didn't seem like she had physicians that cared too much. And I think it's important, when you find a good physician or therapist or psychologist, psychiatrist, whichever one it is, and you can build a good relationship with. Like I've had mine for 15 years. So it's like she's been with me. She's been to court with me. Like it's the whole thing. And she would vouch 1000%, if anything ever happened, because she would be like, no, I've known her for literally this long and I went through this and this and this and this and this and this. So I wish she would have had more of that with a doctor. But anyways, we can talk about that more in depth, personal stuff on a members only. Let's watch this clip.
Massachusetts mother accused of killing her 3 children back in 2023. Prosecutors say Lindsay Clancy used exercise bands to strangle her kids, 5, 3, and 8 months old, then jumped from a second-story window, leaving her paralyzed. Her defense is that severe postpartum psychosis drove her to those horrific acts. Criminal defense attorney and host of the Crime and Justice podcast, Donna Rotuno, joins me now. Donna, a terribly complicated and terribly tragic case. What would your defense strategy be going forward, beginning with jury selection?
Well, Todd, it is an awful case. I mean, my goodness, anytime you have the loss of 3 young lives, it's unbelievably tragic. However, in this case, we have to look at the history here of the mental illness. And Lindsay Clancy had a documented medical history. She went to doctors. She told doctors what her symptoms were. They put her on a cocktail of medication. These doctors did not speak to one another. They have a good defense here. Lindsay Clancy herself was a nurse. And as a nurse, even she, I think, was so out of her mind that she was not able to know what she should or shouldn't have been taking at the same time. Her husband had said just prior to this, they had gone to the doctor and said she was hearing voices. So this is a documented defense here. So she's in a position where they are going to be able to show this jury that she was dealing with some major mental health issues here. In terms of picking the jury, you want to pick jurors who can be fair. You have to take the emotion out of it here because obviously this is a very emotional case. And if you think about the way those 3 lives were taken, it's awful. But you really have to look at whether or not her actions were intentional. I mean, Todd, she ends up jumping out of a window and ends up as paralyzed.
Yeah, it is so important to note that both the mom and the husband are suing the medical establishment, including those doctors, for exactly what you just said. And the lawsuit specifically says the following, quote, she recognized something was wrong with her. She sought medical treatment. She went to emergency rooms. She called crisis hotlines. She admitted herself to hospitals. She took the medication prescribed to her. She communicated her worsening symptoms to her providers. But to your point, Donna, defense is going to have an expert that says, look, they put her on different drugs depending upon who the doctor was and didn't communicate with each other, like you said. So with that in mind from the defense, how the heck does the prosecution go forward and establish her state of mind in trying to prove their case without appearing like they're trying to beat up on this woman?
Yeah, they're in a very tough position. And frankly, you know, going at her with these 3 murder charges, these are the highest charges they can charge her with here. And I think they're asking a lot of this jury, given the fact.
I agree with her. They're asking a lot. Like, what about other freaking charges? Like, Ellie, I've seen people on Facebook calling this postpartum depression. This isn't it at all. People are so ignorant. And that's another thing too. Like, and I'm not making excuses for Kenzie Shola, but I believe she was also, her and Dom both had mental health issues that really needed to get worked out. And I mean that, respectfully. They were just kids too. But yeah, it's not the same thing at all, ATS. I was on the unpopular opinion side of Ashley Benfield because everybody thought that she did everything on purpose. I saw a terrified woman who stood her ground and was telling the absolute truth. Oh, okay. I would like to hear more about that later. Legally, that's interesting. Many years ago, I went through something. The psychologist's answer was meds. In the end, thankfully, I pulled myself off and did therapy work. That's what I had to do too after my bad experience. I was like, absolutely not. Like, I would rather be in a facility, no meds, and be monitored than to get back on meds because it was a real scare for me. Postpartum psychosis is much different. I saw my friend go through it. It was terrifying. Right? And it's especially when you know someone too, or you've been through it, it's like, it's a whole different world, like hearing from experiences and opinions.
That there is this documented history. What they're going to rely on, though, Todd, is they're going to say she planned this out. She told her husband to go get food. She waited until he left, that this was something that she, didn't want him around for. And so she thought enough to do those things and to take those steps. I don't think it's going to be enough, frankly. I do think that a jury is going to see that she had this documented history. They can prove that. And I think the experts are going to back her up. I mean, Todd, even her husband has forgiven her and is saying that he doesn't think that she did this in her right mind.
Just quickly, before we let you go, do you want women or men on this jury, or does it not matter?
I don't think it really matters. I think you want, sometimes it does, but here I think you want people who can be fair and impartial and say, look, I'm going to remove the emotion. Yes, it's sad that children died, but the question becomes, was she in her right mind when she committed these acts?
Just a sad,
very
horrific case. Donna, you're going to be with us as we follow it. Remember, you can listen to Donna on new episodes.
Yeah, that's a huge thing for me as I'm, been following this case. The fact that her husband, y'all, it's her husband, his babies too, and he's sticking by her. That's a huge deal. That's major, in my opinion. I mean, could you imagine? That's a big thing. Her husband is sticking by her. Okay, I have another clip. This is Chris Cuomo, one of my favorites. He does a 7-minute clip. Let's watch what he has to say.
We got to get inside these stories that often become about a narrative more than they do about the facts. That's why I started the podcast. You can subscribe anywhere that you get podcasts. Go right on YouTube. Cuomo Crime Time is there for you. And this is an example. Jury selection began today in the trial of 36-year-old Lindsay Clancy, Massachusetts mother and former labor and delivery nurse. Okay. 2023, she strangled her own kids, 3 of them, all at once, ages 5, 3, and 8 months. It was horrible. She used elastic exercise bands, and then she jumped out the window, paralyzing herself. Now we're on trial. Not for, the who done it. We know who did it. It's whether or not she's criminally responsible. Her lawyers are saying it's an insanity defense. She had postpartum psychosis. She had sought help, was on numerous meds, which made it worse. Lindsay claims she heard voices telling her, this is your last chance. Kill the children so you can kill yourself. Despite murdering her kids, her husband, Patrick, has forgiven her and will testify in her defense. The prosecution sees it as something very different. Let's bring in defense attorney and former prosecutor Mark Eiglarsh. Brother Mark, thank you for being with us. Just play prosecutor. Honestly, I don't get it. I really don't understand why we are at trial here. What am I missing about this prosecution?
Okay, so if I'm playing,
I agree with Chris Cuomo. And if y'all haven't heard the lawsuit from her husband against the doctors, it's on the last live that I did. It's a very interesting, and it gives a lot of information about the meds and the situation that was going on. So definitely go ahead and replay that. Let me know what you think.
playing prosecutor, the prisons are packed with people who have mental disorders, who are experiencing their symptoms while they were committing their offenses. But if they know right from wrong, which is the second prong, if prosecutors can find anything to show that you knew right from wrong, then that's not going to be enough for them. So you've mentioned in your intro a few of those things. Prosecutors will argue, why did you wait till your husband was gone before committing these atrocities? Why did you choose to kill yourself? It's because you knew after you did this task, what you did was horrendous and horrible. See, I play the role well, but I feel more like you do. Why? Can I play defense lawyer yet or have to wait?
No, you have to wait. I want you to be the bad guy because I want to shine a light on, why prosecutions are about upholding the law, but they are also an advocacy instrument for the victims. All right. Here, she is the victim. Her husband is the victim. The husband sees this for exactly what it is, which is an unimaginable tragedy. He is saying she should not go to prison. She's all I have left. I want to remind people, Andrea Yates is something that they may look up about this. I see the cases as different, but fundamentally the same kind of the same kind of material of concern. I want to remind somebody. I interviewed Yates's husband. Watch this.
It's much like having a dream or nightmare overlaid on reality, so that a person sees things that aren't real, hears voices that aren't real, believes things to be true that aren't true. The next step of forgiveness, I'd say, is understanding it's a sickness, that but for, that causation, right? But for her sickness, she would never, ever, ever, ever have harmed our children.
Andrea Yates, that's a great interview. We should probably review that. But yeah, I feel the same. I agree with what both of these.
By the way,
the narrative.
Yates,
That's it.
Yates,
That's
we
it.
don't know, but Yates, we don't know, did what Clancy did, trying to get the help, taking the meds, saying that things were going, it's all in the record. I don't understand the point of the prosecution. I just don't get it. I don't get the policy.
First of all, prosecutors are politicians. They're elected by the people. The people I had dinner with and shared, hey, I'm coming on Chris Cuomo. They go, what are you talking about? And I shared the topic. Most of them roll their eyes. Really? Someone's going to let her go? And then she's going to be living amongst us? Most people are not from your thought process. And even if she suffered from mental illness, most people want her help.
I'm not saying let her go.
Well,
I'm saying put her in a hospital and make her stay there and try and figure out if you can do something to help her. I mean, look, she jumped out the window for a reason. Okay, the idea that she did this because she wanted to get away with something evil. She tried to kill herself.
So prosecutors who I've spoken to, and I spoke to him about the Precious Bland case down here in South Florida, where a judge just found a woman not guilty by reason of insanity. She killed her 15-month-old child, tried to kill her teenage daughter and her husband. And I talked to everyone involved. The prosecutors recognized that she suffered from mental illness, maybe-ish, COVID-related psychosis, but they look for details
to support the idea that, oh, in this instance, oh, you tried to kill yourself, so you knew right from wrong. So in their minds, it's more about defending the law, that the legislators do not want legally people to escape if there's any notion that they knew right from wrong in spite of having the mental illness.
I get it. It is well argued, and I understand it. I just don't like it. And I don't think it's worth our money. I'm not saying that she should be free among us, although I'd be, I'd be shocked. She's got a lot of pain in front of her. So does her husband. And it really, he's really the only stakeholder here, right? But I do believe this is one of those cases that make us think, we think we're evolved. We're not that evolved. We still treat sick as bad. We still want to punish
I am a father. I am a father of 3. You can't be okay with what she did. But here's what I tell people, and anyone watching, just for a second, imagine someone you love, your husband, your older son, and they all of a sudden do something like this. What's your position going to be? It'll be different because you know they're not in their right frame of mind. They're sick. They're disturbed. They would never have done something like this, but for a mental defect or disease that they did not cause or bring on. Think about that.
And
Put
that they were
yourself in
trying
the
to, and that they were
shoes
trying
of
to
this
treat.
husband.
Now, they do something to.
That's true, right? It's like, hold on. It's like, it doesn't have to be just postpartum psychosis. It could be any mental health condition that can lead to being over-medicated, incorrectly medicated, etc., right?
Someone else. Now they're going to have to pay a price because that's the way the society works. I'm saying, for the father, who's the only stakeholder left, he's already lost everything. So did she. This is an unusual fact pattern. That's why I think that the treatment of the system, the way they always do it, seems a little weird. Go ahead.
I disagree that he's the only one who has a stake in this. It's the people of the state of, in other words, it's not just him.
I get it.
Right? And the same process, though, if you're going to say that she's legally not responsible for this, if she killed the neighbor, then you would have to stand by that same proposition too, legally, Chris.
I know. I'm saying that the way our system looks at it, you kill the neighbor, you're going to jail. Nobody cares about your mental illness. It's very, very rare. This fact pattern, I think, gives you a chance to have the compassion that the illness actually deserves in the first place. But Mark,
I
you've
agree
argued
with
it
you.
perfectly.
The husband is the ace
which is
in the
why I
hole.
bring you on.
The husband's
he is the ace in the hole. I hate to say it that way, but he is. And we'll see where this goes. We'll stay on it. I'll bring you back because you're the best. Mark, thank you very much.
Chris Como, no, you're the best. I love Chris. Again, her husband is going to testify on her behalf. That's huge. Absolutely wild. Because he knows her. And he knows that she would have never done something like that. Legally says postpartum psychosis is not widely known about. Hopefully this case will bring light for people so that we can have some more grace. It's very real and it's very scary. They don't remember. All mental, I agree with you legally, but all mental health is just scary and it's a process, right? I think any of the mental health conditions should be brought to light and people should be more educated. And I wish people that didn't know or experience it wouldn't talk so gross about it. We've all been very open here on my channel about mental health. I'm big on that. A good friend of mine is bipolar and she recently ended herself up in jail because she was in psychosis from a bout of mania and she was trying to rob the cars, totally not her, and she has no memory of it. Exactly. Calissa says, I think she wanted to punish her husband. Really? Why would she want to punish him? They didn't have a bad relationship. He was working from home to help her. I'm curious why you think that. She's living with her own nightmare. Yeah, exactly. Okay, one more clip and then we'll do a little bit of recap from day 1 jury selection, not very long, and day 2 as well. But like I said, I'll probably be doing solo lives on each of the cases because they both deserve that attention and coverage.
Defense attorney, our expert here, Elise Hirschon, following.
Wait, this is from today, but I'll still go through the notes.
This trial along with us. Elise, thank you for being here. I want to start right where Bob left off. So the defense wants to limit the number of first responders that would testify, a significant number of them. That could really upend the whole presentation, right, of the prosecution's case. But you could understand the argument, we don't want them to hear this horrible thing recounted over and over again.
Absolutely, Carrie, and nice to see you again. I'm still working on my voice today, but so Bob has a copy of the motion. It's something that defense attorneys file, and a lot of times judges do cap the amount of witnesses. So in order for certain testimony and evidence to come in, it has to be relevant. And obviously the scene upon when they walked upon 3 children who were dead in the basement is obviously relevant to this case. Is it probative of information? Yes. However, what is the prejudicial level? And the probative value has to outweigh the prejudicial level. So the judge needs to balance this, right? So there's not unfair prejudice hearing over and over again, very disturbing graphic information. If by calling all of these witnesses, they're not actually adding anything probative, meaning no new facts are coming in, it's just witness after witness, EMTs, first responders, fire, police, saying the same thing over and over again, the repetition really serves only to inflame the jury's emotions, to really falsely inflate the prosecution's evidence, and that's usually considered unfair prejudice to the defendant and is usually capped.
We'll see what the judge decides then when they do finally hear this motion, Elise. Bob also reported today, in addition to the, more than a dozen first responders that could testify, altogether, they have more than 200 people listed as witnesses. Is that a typical amount of witnesses in any case?
In something like a murder trial, the murder trials I've worked on and gone to trial on, yes. The short answer is yes. You're looking at hundreds of witnesses, but on the list. But remember that not all of them are going to be called. We talked a little bit yesterday about unfair surprise, right? So the lawyers are not allowed to, under the rules of evidence and the rules of criminal procedure, to have a surprise witness come in at the last minute. So rather than have someone come up that they decide later to call that wasn't on the list, both parties usually have an over-inclusive list. They put everybody on there that has touched this case in any possible way so that they are covered if they decide halfway through the trial, towards the end of the trial, or even in the beginning, whether or not to call those witnesses. And a lot of times, especially as a defense attorney, it's an evolving decision. The defendant has a say in it. Certainly it's you collaborative with your client, but you're also seeing how the evidence comes in through the prosecution, and you may increase or decrease off of that list as the trial goes along.
Okay, Elise Hirshon, criminal defense attorney.
Interesting information. That was a little bit of coverage from day 2, but let's go back to day 1 because I did not cover day 1. So we're just going to read a little bit of notes on this. And we'll watch a little clip too, and then we'll be done. So this is yesterday, day 1. Lindsay Clancy's murder trial is underway. The 35-year-old Massachusetts woman is charged with 3 counts of murder of strangling and for the strangling deaths of her 3 children, ages 5, 3, and 8 months, in January of 2023. Clancy is expected to be present in the courtroom every day, bound to a wheelchair after a jump from her home's 2nd-story window, an alleged suicide attempt immediately after the murders left her paralyzed. Clancy's defense lawyer claims she was insane when she killed the children, suffering from postpartum psychosis, and could not appreciate the wrongfulness of her actions. She faces a potential sentence of life in prison without parole if she is convicted. Live updates, 4 p.m. Court is in recess until 9 a.m. So far, the court has seated, oh wait, let me start backwards because it goes up. No, 9:14 a.m. Potential jurors are being brought into the courtroom from the assembly room. Media will not be permitted in the courtroom until all jurors are seated. Jury selection will get underway shortly after. 9:25 a.m. 130 prospective jurors have been summoned for questioning. 9:35 a.m. Media is being let in. 9:37 court bailiffs give media instructions on court rules. Jurors are not in the courtroom. Judge William F. Sullivan is expected to take the bench for some housekeeping matters. 9:38 a.m. Two nurses who are responsible for taking care of Lindsay Clancy leave the detention area and take seats in the courtroom. 9:44 a.m. Judge Sullivan takes the bench. Lindsay is seated next to her attorney. The judge calls attorneys to the sidebar to discuss changes to the juror questionnaires. 10:01 a.m. The judge has been hearing a motion by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the prosecution, about excluding the defense's undisclosed witnesses. He agrees to allow the motion, leaving room for the defense to renew the motion. 10:04 a.m. The judge leaves the bench. Bailiffs clear the room. Prospective jurors are being summoned. 10:07 a.m. We can expect a break until the prospective jurors get here. 10:20 a.m. Prospective jurors are seated. The judge calls the case to order. At 10:22 a.m., Judge Sullivan is instructing the jurors. He tells them that he will read the allegations and let the attorneys introduce themselves. He'll go over the length of the trial, ask group questions, and give out a questionnaire and list of the witnesses. Once jurors have time to fill out the questionnaires and review the witness list, the judge says he will summon them one at a time. The judge tells the jurors the case will go approximately 6 weeks. 10:31 a.m. The judge's first group question is, are you related to Lindsay Clancy or anyone in her family? 4 of the jurors say yes. Oh, wow. It's interesting. 10:32 a.m. The judge's next question, are you employed or represented by any attorneys in this case? 1 juror said yes. The judge's next question, do you have any bias against any side? Jurors, no response. 10:34 a.m. The judge's next question is, do you have any bias that would affect your ability to sit on this case? Multiple jurors responded yes. Interesting. 11:17 a.m. Judge Sullivan takes the bench and will begin interviewing jurors one at a time. Prospective jurors have been asked to fill out questionnaires and review the witness list. Juror 1 was questioned at sidebar and dismissed. Juror 2 is questioned at sidebar and leaves. Juror 3 is questioned. This process is expected to continue for the remainder of the day. Members of Lindsay's family are present and sit behind the defense table. Juror number 5 is questioned and excused. Juror number 7 is questioned. Juror number 7 is a white male and he is excused. Juror number 8 is questioned and is assigned seat number 2 in the jury box. Juror number 9 is questioned and excused. Juror 10 is a Black female and she is questioned. I don't know why that matters, but okay. 12:13. It's worth noting that a court order bars cameras in the courtroom from transmitting any images of jury selection. Juror 11 is excused. Juror 12 is a white female and she is questioned and dismissed. Juror 13 is a white male and he is questioned and excused. Juror 14 is a white male and he is excused. Juror 15 is a white female. She is questioned and is excused. And juror 16 is a white male. He is excused. Juror 17 is a white male, is questioned and excused. Juror 19, a white male, is also questioned. The judge and attorneys have questioned more than 20 jurors. We're up to juror number 29. The judge is taking a break, and that's at 1:03 p.m. 2:02 p.m. After the morning session of jury selection, 2 jurors have been qualified and seated. The judge is looking to see 18 jurors who will hear the case. Each side gets 18 peremptories, which may be used to strike a prospective juror for any reason. The court is back in session at 2:21 p.m. The judge Sullivan is on the bench and has summoned the lawyers to the sidebar. Lindsay Clancy is seated in the witness box from where she has been participating in jury selection. Occasionally, she has flipped through some papers, presumably the jury questions. 2:27 p.m. Judge and lawyers excuse juror number 32 and 33, both white females in their late 40s. 2:34 p.m. Jurors number 34 and 35, both white males who appear to be in their 20s, are questioned and excused, while jury number 36, a white male, is questioned and returns to the jury room. Juror number 38, a white middle-aged white female, is questioned and excused. 2:45 p.m. Juror number 39, a white female, is questioned and excused. Juror number 40 is a Hispanic female. She's questioned and excused. 2:50 p.m. Juror number 41, a white male in his 60s, is questioned and excused. Juror number 42, a white female in her 50s, is excused. Jurors 44 and 45, both middle-aged white males, are excused. Juror number 47, a white female in her 40s, is questioned and excused. Juror number 48 is a white male in his 70s, and he is assigned a seat in the jury box. At 3:13 p.m., juror number 49 is a black male and is questioned and excused. Juror number 50, a white female in her late 70s, is excused. Juror number 51, a white male, is questioned. During his questioning, Lindsay Clancy leans and huddles with her defense attorney. Juror number 51 is excused. 3:18 p.m., juror 52 is a white male in her 60s, is questioned and a white female in her 60s is questioned and assigned a seat in the juror box. She's the fourth juror seated. Those jurors who have been assigned in the jury box do not go and sit in the jury box. Once they have received their assignment, they return to the jury room. Jurors who are released walk out of the courtroom doors. Presumably seated jurors access a different exit. 3:20 p.m., juror number 53, a white female in her 50s, is questioned and excused. Juror number 54 is a white female, and she's assigned number seat 5 in the jury box. Jury number 58 is a black male, is questioned and asked to go to the jury room. Juror number 59 is a white male in his early 20s, and he is excused. Juror number 60 is a white female in her 20s. She's questioned and excused. Juror number 61, a white female, is questioned and excused. 3:41 p.m., juror number 58 returns and is questioned some more. Then juror number 63, a white male in his 20s, is excused. Juror number 64, a black female, is questioned and excused. Juror number 65, a white male in his 40s, is excused. Juror number 66, a white female who appears to be about 40 years old, is questioned and excused. Juror number 68, a white female in her late 40s, is excused. And juror number 7, a white female in her 50s, is questioned and excused. 4 p.m., court is in recess until Tuesday, which is today. So far, the court has seated 5 jurors, 3 women and 2 men. Now let's look at some of these photo gallery images. Plus, she was a nurse. People will know her exactly. She's in a wheelchair. At least go to a medical facility. My heart goes out to her. I know. After I left my baby, I felt like once I left the hospital, no one wanted to help or give advice. And as a new mom, you are too scared to ask. Like, judgment is unreal. Very hard times for some. Yeah, I know. Postpartum. And then, like, I want to be like, oh, well, males don't know shit about that, but because they don't give birth, but, the males are the father and they are the sperm to the baby, you know what I mean? And so then they are there for their wife and their children. So it's like, well, it does affect the males as well. But this is Lindsay Clancy. Listens to her attorney, argues a motion before the start of her jury trial on Monday at the Plymouth Superior Court. So her family and her husband are all standing beside her. She is paralyzed, I think, for life. The rest of her life. These are her parents. Oh, I can't imagine. I cannot imagine what they are going through. My heart goes out to her parents. And same with the Clancys. This is her. This is her defense attorney, Kevin Reddington, argues a motion about expert witnesses before the start of jury selection for the trial. Lindsay Clancy listens as her attorney argues a motion before the start of her jury trial on Monday. She's charged with 3 counts of murder for the strangling deaths of her 3 children. Why murder? Like, it seems like, okay, with all this stuff about postpartum, I'm just like, was that the first thing? Like, another charge? Like, they're obviously not taking into account the mental health aspect of it, but that's just my opinion. Okay, I have a little clip from the courtroom. So let's watch that, and then we'll probably be getting done here soon. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button. Thank you for those of you that are here.
Before we get to impalement, there's just a couple of things I wanted to go over. First, I made a couple of changes to the questionnaire, kind of in light of the discussions that we had, I think last week. Give you all a chance to take a look at it. Then I'll maybe talk to you at sidebar just for a second. Then I know there was another motion to eliminate that we wanted to discuss and go over. So Council, can I see you just briefly for
this is
in regards to the questionnaire?
This is day one, so it's yesterday. We will do a little recap on today. Okay, I'm gonna skip. I didn't know there was waiting right off the bat. So let me fast forward this. I haven't seen this, so that's why I didn't know. Oh, here we go. Oh, really?
So before we begin the impalement.
Thank you, Lindsay Bay, for that. I hadn't looked into him yet, but I was gonna. Her Addie's like the top defense attorney in Mass. Okay, that's awesome. I'm glad she has a good lawyer, unlike someone else we know. I bet you can guess who I'm thinking about.
I know that there was a motion to eliminate filed by the Commonwealth last week, and it was to, and it's pleading number 129, Commonwealth's motion eliminate to exclude defendants' undisclosed expert witnesses. So I've had an opportunity to review Commonwealth's motion in the attachments. I've had a chance to review the defendant's opposition. And so why don't I hear first from the Commonwealth, and then I'll hear from the defendant. Commonwealth?
Thank you, Your Honor. The Commonwealth's moving for the court to exclude the 4 expert witnesses detailed in the July 7th witness list defense counsel provided to the Commonwealth, or in the alternative to continue the trial so that we can prepare for those witnesses. We received that witness list on July 7th. There were many nurses and doctors on that witness list, many of whom have worked with the defendant in the past. So we weren't clear as to whether the doctors were people she had worked with in the past or if they were experts that we weren't aware of. So we emailed defense counsel asking for information about these experts or these doctors, and he responded pretty quickly. I know in his memo, he says that they're not experts, but they're clearly experts. They're not fact witnesses. It doesn't appear that they knew her, worked with her, observed any of the events leading to these charges. The subject matters that the defense lays out in his notice and in his memo are subject matters not that lay witnesses would not be allowed to testify about. Things like mechanism of injury, mental health, medications that are prescribed and the effects of those medications, and psychiatric standards of care, all of which would be expert witnesses. Now, defense counsel is an experienced attorney who understands the rules, and by providing these names at this last minute, a week and a half before trial, was a strategic and intentional act to surprise us with these witnesses and not allow us to be prepared for them. We have a right to prepare for witnesses, to obtain materials, especially with expert witnesses, to find out where have they testified before, what publications have they written, what is the basis of their expertise, and to get rebuttal evidence and or witnesses to be prepared for trial. If the Commonwealth had attempted to do the same at this last minute and bring up expert witnesses, they would be excluded without question. And I know the standard is different for prosecutors, but we all still have to follow Rule 14. And to allow defense counsel to call these experts would be fundamentally unfair to the Commonwealth.
All right. Yeah, Mr. Reddington.
First of all, I can't remember the last time the government, let alone defense, was excluded from presenting testimony by way of quote experts end quote. Generally, it's a matter of fairness. What are they going to testify to? Does the government, in this case, they've got like 39 people working on this case, Judge, and to suggest that they need time to prepare for cross-examination of fundamental witnesses that depend on the direction of their case. For example, I have an emergency room doctor. He's a board certified emergency room doctor that I consult with to help me understand and interpret the medical records, the extensive medical records. South Shore Hospital dealing with the initial admission and the injuries. Brigham and Women's Hospital, she coded on this fake suicide. She coded and almost, and literally her heart stopped at Brigham and Women's Hospital. I need to know terms that I don't understand that this Dr. Velkovich is going to assist me with and has been assisting me with them. Now, I don't know what the government is going to say in their opening statement. So I can stand here right now and tell you, in all likelihood, I wouldn't call Dr. Velkovich as a witness in this case, but it depends on what they say in their opening statement. In the event that after their opening statement, there are issues in play that I feel I would be calling the doctor, I certainly would supplement. And they've already got all their CVs. I've already given them the CVs. As it relates to the psychiatrists, I've given them the CVs. I've given them voluntarily videotapes of their interview and evaluation of Lindsay. I have given them their notes. They've got every scrap of paper that my doctors, that would be Dr. Zeisel, Dr. Resnick, and Dr. Spinelli have. As it relates to, for example, the other doctor that's referenced in the defense disclosure to the government, Dr. Condi. Dr. Condi is not one of my experts. Dr. Condi is an individual who filed an affidavit dealing with the atrocious failure to have medical care that is consistent with the standard that is applicable, and that's in the civil suit. I summons them. He doesn't know me. I haven't sat down with him and gone over evidence and everything else. I said, you're a witness in that case. You filed an affidavit. I'm summoning you, and I did. I have spoken with him, and I gave the government the affidavit that he filed in the civil suit. You then have my crime scene, if you will, blood spatter evidence. I don't expect that I'm going to be calling Dr. Clancy, but when we get into this thing where they wanted to have whiteboards and drop, fluids on it and experiments in front of the jury, you remember that I objected, filed an objection, filed a brief, and indicated that I would have to have, I wanted a Daubert hearing. Your Honor allowed that. I then spoke to Mr. Condi, Dr. Condi, I should say, who I've dealt with before. Very, very well-known crime scene reconstruction gentleman, very qualified, board certified on the boards and all the.
I believe she did like some outpatient care or like those program things, I don't know how long they were, but I think she should have been in a facility. Allison says, I think she was struggling, or somebody mentioned they don't know if she had psychosis previously. I believe I listened to something about her previous birth. Yeah, you're right. I don't know if it's pregnancy 2 or 1 that these issues started with. I thought it was 2, but I could be wrong. But you could be right and I could be wrong. Whatever.
I'm not going to use them because we, as you know, are not going to be doing
the climax of our opinion is that there was something wrong. And it wasn't, like it just popped out of nowhere. She had been struggling for some time.
the experiment on the board. I am still going to consult with him as it relates to evidence that I think I have to ask him questions about. But right now, as I stand here, I don't expect to call him. So that's Dr. Condi on the affidavit on the civil suit. My crime scene blood spatter expert. I have my board certified emergency room doctor, and then I have Dr. Laposada. Everybody knows Dr. Laposada. She's no stranger to the courts. I've used her on many, many, many murder cases over the years. Dr. Laposada, as I stand here now, I don't know if I'm going to call her or not. It depends on, again, what the government argues in their opening. If they argue something in their opening that opens the door for me to slam them with Dr. Laposada, you can bet I will call her. But they don't need weeks to prepare for cross-examination. That's ludicrous to suggest that. So I think I have complied and then some with Rule 14. So I'm asking that the court, not at this early stage, strike the witnesses because I don't know if I'm calling them yet. And if I do, they'll get a report. They already have all their CVs.
Yeah.
I may, Your Honor.
Ms. Sprague, please.
We do not have 30 some odd people working on this case. It's ADA Buckingham and myself working on this case along with our victim witness advocates. We've never made an allegation that defense counsel hadn't provided discovery pursuant to Rule 14 in a timely manner for the 3 experts that they plan on calling regarding criminal responsibility. What we're talking about are the 4 witnesses he's detailed in this last minute notice of witnesses. And when he says that Dr. Condi is just a witness, he's not an expert because he's in the civil case and he hasn't talked to him, that doesn't mean he's not an expert. He's clearly an expert because he's talking about medical information, psychology, and medications, and the psychiatric standards of care that only an expert would know. And we haven't been provided anything but his affidavit, and his affidavit doesn't even state which standards of care is he talking about and what he bases his opinion on. And most of his opinion is more likely than not. So there's nothing in that affidavit that would be compliant or would fully comply with Rule 14. In terms of Dr. Laposada, yes, I am familiar with her, and often in cases when she testifies for defense, she files a report at the last minute, giving prosecution little to no time to prepare for what she's going to testify to. We have nothing on her or any of these other witnesses as to what they plan to testify to, what their opinion is. There are no reports, no notes, no statements. Those are all required information so that we can be prepared so that the process is fair. And defense has to follow Rule 14 as well.
I mean, I understand the defendant's kind of argument that not knowing exactly what the evidence is, it's difficult to say what witnesses you're going to call. But at this point, the Commonwealth has presented their experts and what the opinions are. The defendant has provided significant discovery regarding the 3 experts regarding criminal responsibility. The other issues, it's almost like it's premature at this.
She does, in my opinion, she does look medicated here. Is anyone else traumatized? Like when I hear Massachusetts, I'm like, oh, because I'm thinking like, oh, Karen Reed, you know. She looks heavily medicated, says Anthony. She may have sounded like she was doing okay, however, none of us know sounding and truly is. Yeah, listen, you're right, Allison. Like, we don't know. We weren't there. A lot of people throw dirt at her husband, like, why did you leave her alone with the kids? I don't think that that should, I don't think he should be, I don't know. I don't think he did it like intentionally is what I'm trying to say. Although he did do it intentionally, right? Because he left her there, but I just don't think no one knows when something like this is going to happen.
Point to rule on this. I mean, if the Commonwealth's witness comes out of left field and gives an opinion that is completely different than what had been disclosed, that's a different analysis than if the witness says, I've been saying this for 2 years. I think that's a different argument. So I don't know yet. I'm assuming that the witnesses that the Commonwealth is going to call will testify consistent with what their opinions. And if that's the case, I may very well allow the motion to eliminate. But at this point, if they varied significantly, then I might have to view it a different way. It's a difficult motion in regards from the defendant's standpoint because I don't have any opinions. Like Dr. Laposada, I don't know what her opinion is, right? I mean, it may be completely going along with the Commonwealth or against the Commonwealth. So it's hard to deal with that. Same with, well, Dr. Condi, probably not. Is it Dr. Condi? Is going to testify regarding the standard of care. I'm not sure if that's going to be any different than what the defendant's other expert is going to testify to. And there's already an expert who's going to opine in regards to that. The other is Dr. Valentin, but that doesn't sound like that's going to be an issue because it doesn't sound like the Commonwealth is going to do the seek to introduce that demonstration. It was that Dr. Volkovich. And same with the emergency room doctor. I don't know if anybody's even going to disagree with each other, you know? So I'm going to allow the Commonwealth's motion at this point, subject to it being renewed based upon what the evidence is as the case develops, if that makes sense. The Commonwealth's motion is to exclude the defendant's undisclosed expert witnesses. I'm going to allow that at this point, but I keep using the word allow, but allow the defendant to renew that depending on what the Commonwealth's either opening is, as you said, or what their experts say. If they say something that's unexpected.
The problem, Judge, respectfully, is that it hogties me on my opening because I don't know until they make their opening if, for example, I would utilize Dr. Volkovich. I just don't know until I hear their opening. So if you're ordering me that I can't reference these witnesses or what their opinion would be, then it puts me in a very awkward position.
Well, it's not that awkward because you've got a situation where you're telling me you don't know what they're going to say. So how?
Because I can anticipate what they're going to say.
No,
I have their prior statements that they've made. I've got their various releases. I've got their Raymond argument. I've got all of that. So I have an idea what they're going to say. I just don't know they're going to say it.
Well, we go first, so then he'll know.
Well,
and then he can tailor his opening to that.
Here's what we're going to do.
So
here's what we're going to do. We're going to do just what I said. All right. I'm going to allow this motion subject to the defendant as the Commonwealth's case changes. Or if you want to come up
that's what
after Commonwealth's opening, if you feel that has opened the door in some way, I have no problem hearing everybody over here. And same thing as the case unfolds. If you feel that something is said that's was unexpected or inconsistent with the earlier disclosure, by all means, come on up to the sidebar and we can talk about that. Okay? All right. Anything else we need to address?
No, Your Honor.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get off the bench at this point. We'll bring the jury up, the potential jurors up, and then we'll begin impanelment as soon as we get everybody up here. Okay?
Interesting. Yeah, I'm glad y'all brought up Lindsay Clancy because I covered her case. Yeah, shout out to I'm sorry, Kelsey Fitzsimmons. I was looking at my notes. Kelsey Fitzsimmons was so sad. So glad she did it, but Sean came out victorious. Yeah, that one's I like her. I really do like Kelsey Fitzsimmons. Okay, let's just do a little quick recap on day 2, which is today, and then tomorrow we'll probably go more in depth on the recaps. So this is from today, July 21st, 2026. 8:58 a.m. Jury selection is expected to resume shortly. Judge seated 5 jurors yesterday and is looking to seat a total of 18 jurors, including 6 alternates. All prospective jurors will be asked to fill out a questionnaire and review a lengthy witness list. We're in full at 9:25 a.m. as we wait for a new group of jurors to be escorted into the courtroom. The judge will instruct them on what to expect and ask a series of questions to the group before they are sent back and fill out the questionnaire and review the witnesses. 10:05 a.m. About 90 jurors have assembled in the courtroom. Judge takes the bench. Lindsay Clancy sits next to her attorney at the defense table. 10:06 a.m. Clerk calls the case and asks the prospective jurors to stand and take an oath. Judge instructs the jurors. He tells them he will give a statement of the case, allow the attorneys to introduce themselves. We'll give an estimated length of the trial, which will be followed by a group of questions. If they answer yes to any of those questions, they will raise a red card. The jurors will then be excused to answer a questionnaire and review the witness list. 10:11 a.m. Judge statement is alleged on or about January 24th, 2023. The defendant strangled her 3 children with exercise bands in the basement of their home. The Commonwealth alleges this was done with extreme premeditation. Defendant is anticipated that she will present an insanity case. Judge reiterates this is a formal accusation but is not evidence. The jury will decide whether the Commonwealth has proven its case. The defendant has pleaded not guilty. 10:14 a.m. Attorneys introduce themselves. Jennifer Sprague and Shannon Buckingham represent the Commonwealth. Kevin Reddington introduces himself and his client. Lindsay turns her head slightly but does not fully face the prospective jurors. 10:16 a.m. Judge estimates the case will go 6 to 8 weeks. He notes there will be delays when he will end early or days when there will be no trial. Typically, they will go from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. 10:17 a.m. First group question is, are you related to the defendant, Lindsay Clancy, or her family? 2 jurors responded yes. 10:18 a.m. Second group question, are you associated with any of these attorneys? Jurors 170, 197, 198, 233 respond yes. Group question number 4 is, do you have any physical problem that would affect your ability to sit? And there's a ton of jurors. 209, 160, 196, 143, 154, 233, 176, 174, 129, and 234. Group question number 3 is, are you aware of any bias? And the jurors 143, 199, 214, 144, 141, 164, 121, 230, and 129. Group question number 5 is constitutional principles. Defendant has the presumption of innocence. Commonwealth must prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt. Defendant has no obligation to testify. The defendant has a mental disease or defect, and she was unable to conform her conduct to the principles of the law. Do any jurors have any difficulty accepting these principles? No response. 10:24 a.m. Group question number 6. Any reason you cannot reach a verdict based on the law? No response. 10:25 a.m. Prospective jurors are filling out questionnaires and reviewing the witnesses. The courtroom has been cleared until the judge is ready to question the jurors individually. 11:24 a.m. Court is back in session. Jurors will be called individually to be questioned at sidebar. Juror number 121 is called. 11:26 a.m. An individual questioning of jurors resumes. Juror 121, a white female in her 50s, is questioned and excused. 11:29 a.m. Juror 201, a pregnant white female in her 30s, is questioned briefly and excused. Juror number 122, a middle-aged white male, is questioned and assigned to seat number 6 in the jury box. We have 6 jurors at this point. 11:34 a.m. Juror number 123, a white male, 40s, is questioned and excused. Number 124 is a white female in her 40s. She is questioned and assigned to seat number 7. 11:52 a.m. Juror number 126, a black female, 60s, is excused. Juror number 128, white female in her 60s, is questioned and returns to the jury room. Juror number 129, a white male in his 20s, is questioned and excused. 12 o'clock p.m. Juror number 130 is a white male in his 20s and he's excused. Juror 131 is a white male in his 50s, is questioned and excused. Juror number 132, a black female in her 40s, is questioned and excused. Juror number 128 is recalled, questioned, and excused. Juror number 134, 20-ish, white female, is excused. Juror 135, a white male, 60s, is questioned and excused. Juror number 137, white female, 50s, is questioned and excused. And so is 140, who's a white female in her 30s. 12:32 p.m. Juror 139 is a white male, 20s. He's questioned and excused. Juror 141, a white male in his 20s, is questioned and excused. Juror 143 is a white female in her 40s, also questioned and excused. And 144, who's a white male in his 30s, is excused. Juror number 145 is a white female in her 40s, and she's assigned to seat number 8. Juror 146 is a white female in her 60s, is questioned. Defense lawyer looks to Lindsay. She shrugs. Juror number 146 returns to the jury room. She's assigned seat number 9. The court goes on break. 218, juror 147, a white male in his 20s, is questioned and returns to the jury room. 148, a white male in his 40s, is questioned and excused. Juror number 149 is a white female, 70s, is excused. Juror 151 is a white male in his 20s, is questioned and returns to the jury room. Juror number 10. Juror number 152, a white male in his 50s, is questioned and excused. Juror number 154 is a white female in her 40s, is excused. Juror number 156 is a white female, 40, is excused. Juror 157, a white/Hispanic male in his 40s, is questioned and is assigned to seat number 11. 2:51 p.m. Juror 158 is a white female in her 50s, questioned and excused. Juror number 160 is a white male in his 60s, also questioned and excused. Juror 162 is a white male in his 60s, and he is assigned seat number 12. 3:04 p.m. Juror 163 is a white female in her 50s, questioned and excused. Juror 164 is a white female in her 20s, is questioned and excused. Juror 165 is a white male in his 30s and is questioned and excused. 3:17 p.m. Juror number 166 is a white male, 40s, questioned and excused, as well as juror number 167, questioned and excused, and that is a white male in his 30s. Juror 168 is a black male, 30s, is questioned and excused. 3:28 p.m. Juror 169, white male, 30s, is questioned and excused. Juror 170, white male, 30s, is questioned and briefly and excused. Juror 171 is a black male, 60s, also questioned and excused. 173 is a black male, 40, is questioned and excused. 3:42 p.m. Juror number 174 is a white male, 70s, questioned and excused. Juror 175 is a white male in his 60s, questioned and excused. Juror 176 is a white male in his 30s, questioned and excused. Juror number 177 is a white female, 40s, is questioned and excused. Juror 178 is a black female in her 30s, is assigned to seat number 13. 4:08 p.m. The juror who was originally seated to number 2, seat number 2, has been excused. Not clear as to whether the juror assigned to seat number 13 will take the seat of number 12, or the court will replace juror number 2. 4:10 p.m. Court is in recess until the next day. So that's day 2. Tomorrow will be day 3. Like I said, we will be doing recaps, not necessarily just like the ones we did. We might add more, watch more clips. Depends on what I find. Thanks, Anthony, for being here. La Posada was in Karen Rechild too. I know. I like her. I went away for a little. Is this a new case? No. It was about 2023, and we've covered it before. I do have a Lindsay Clancy playlist, so you guys can tune in. Kelsey Fitzsimmons was so sad, so glad she did the bench trial and came out victorious. Oh yeah, I already read that comment. Yes, I'm glad too. Wonder why a juror who was already sat was excused. I know. Well, it sounds like a lot of people know her and Dr. La Posada because they're well known in the healthcare field there. So it's very interesting. But that will be the end of this live. RIP to Nolan Wells and baby Callan, Cora, and I believe Dawson, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. RIP to them. My heart goes out to all members of these families. It's tragic. And this will be a very interesting trial, in my opinion. Lots of mental health conversation and whatnot. So, like I said, we'll continue to cover Nolan Wells, Lindsay Clancy, Mackenzie Sharilla. I do want to dig into the Ohio 16. I have a couple other things I'm working on as well. I do have a live scheduled for a little bit from right now. Courtney Clenny, her trial's coming up. I will absolutely be covering that. So lots of true crime. I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you to everyone who was in the chat. Shout out to the replay viewers and the mods. I will see you guys on the next live. I was thinking we could watch some Courtney Clenny body cam. So I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you for being here. Bye.